Hey guys, welcome to another Mondays with Sheri and Derek.
Welcome to your week. It's Monday.
It's Monday, but guys, we're so excited because yesterday...
It's the day after our launch. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for your comments. It was really fun, showing you guys kind of what our day looks like during the week.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna do a weekend one because you guys like the week, so we're gonna do a weekend one coming later. But
So put down below here and on our YouTube channel what your favorite meal was. If you thought what Derek said was funny.
Did you enjoy the puppies?
The puppies! Yeah, it was so much fun. This is just like literally, I feel like I'm like the Afterglow.
Yeah, and so many people ask us, do you guys really do all that like during the week and eat it? Yeah, we do.
That was a normal friggin' day.
Yeah, well.
And you know what? It's not
during
hard.
the week.
If you look at the recipes in the description box in the on YouTube, you guys can totally do it.
Yeah,
it's so easy. It's so yummy.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed yet and watched, what are you waiting for? Come join us. Come join the party.
Come on,
good
subscribe
food,
and share it.
Yeah.
Share it
Share
with those you love.
Yeah. So anyway, we're just so excited about that. Anyway,
it's an afterglow. I'm like basking in the afterglow. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, guys, so we're going to continue our series of talking about raising your standards because we really feel like to live the life that you really want to live,
yes, this
you
is
gotta
week
raise
two.
your standards.
Week two of raising our standards.
So this week, what we're going to talk about, honey?
Well, I thought it was really important because we coach a lot of couples.
Mm-hmm.
We coach a lot of couples.
We saved a lot of marriages and relationships.
True that.
Got one person married too.
True that. Yeah, so I just thought it was so important since that's predominantly who we coach are couples. And isn't it funny that I forgot to put on my wedding bands and we're talking about relationships? It's not a hint. It's just when I'm doing my hair, I don't like to get gunk in my ring. So
I gave her a brand new ring and she didn't put it on.
I'm just noticing that. Anyway, so relationships and why it's important to have standards and raise your standards in your relationship. When you start to get these nudges, am I feeling resentful and I don't know why? Am I feeling undervalued? Am I feeling like I'm not being heard and taken seriously?
Do I feel like my relationship has gone on autopilot and it's just kind of going like that?
Do I feel like our intimacy in our relationship is being slowly chipped away at and sometimes gone? All these little pieces, all these little nudges, or all these little like loud sirens in your head and in your body is what will literally erode your relationship to the point of it being gone.
Gone.
Nothing.
Gone, exactly. Well, first of all, I think what you really have to do is sit down with yourself. You have to sit down with yourself and really understand.
You have to know what you want before you can tell anybody else.
Right, if you don't know what you want, how are you going to tell somebody else what you want?
And that really applies to all aspects of the relationship, whether it be about communication or whether it be about the bedroom. You have to know what you want before you can communicate that with somebody to somebody else.
And then I think the next one we always talk about is once you do that, then you have to stick to it. That's the hard
Enforcing
part.
it.
You have to enforce it.
You have to be like that policeman of your own standards.
Right. How many people we know to stay in a relationship, they start lowering their standards of what they want? You can't do that because then you get back to the resentment, you get back to all the other things. So that is what's going to help your relationship move along. It might be harder in the beginning to find one, but that's what's going to have your relationship move on, is when you raise your standards and say, your partner says to you, this is what I want, and you say to your partner, this is what I want, and then you keep those standards. You don't keep crossing that line either side. You put the work in.
Right, and when you set those standards, setting your standards and knowing exactly what you want that will make you happy and fulfilled and feel loved and everything, literally equals your relationship, the needs in your relationship being met. And if your needs are not met, it's gonna fall through your fingers like sand.
Yeah. For me, that's what changed when Sheri and I met. I mean, I know we've been together for a long time, but what really changed is I got to the point in my life where I was two things. Well, one came first. I was not gonna be in a relationship with someone who didn't truly know who I was. Good and the bad. All of it, not putting on any airs. I got to the point where I'm not going to pretend to be this, I'm not going to pretend to be that, I'm going to be me. And that person's got to love me for that. You know, so that was my first one that I did personally. What was your first one that you
Mine
did?
was honestly, you know, when you get into a relationship and, you know, you're young and you have all this in front of you. I became a wife, and then I became a mother, and then I became a mother again, and a mother again.
And you're a mom 3 times.
You know, yes, you did. And, you know, it's very easy for a woman, you know, who's trying to be a good wife and trying to be a good mother. It's easy to lose ourselves, and it's easy to forget about ourselves, and it's easy to put everything else first. And that, you know, our standards, although we're being good people to other people, we're not being good to ourselves. So we're lowering our standards as far as how we think about ourselves and how we treat ourselves. If I'm not happy, I can't be a good wife and I can't be a good mother. So it was really raising those standards with how I treated myself and how I allowed myself to be treated, that allowed me to be so much happier in my relationship.
Well, don't you, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest questions we get when we work with couples in a relationship. How much do I give? And, you know, versus how much do I get? Right. And how much do I lose myself? Because when you're in a relationship, you can't put you first. Especially when kids come along and you're trying to work, the relationship comes first. And I know a lot of times people mix that up. I know we kind of go back and forth on that, but that's the question. How much, because when you say, I'm gonna love me and do me, there's no room for the other person in your life. It's gotta be a group decision between you and that person.
For me, it's always like, you know, I'm not going to make you in charge of my happiness. Yes. I have to own that.
Yes,
but at the same time, you being happy
has to be a priority.
It's a priority, you know? So I can't make you responsible and control of my happiness, but you being happy is a priority. So it helps us make decisions together, and it helps us get back on the same page, and it helps us, you know, put the relationship, because there's Derek, there's Sheri, and then there's a relationship.
And then there's Derek and Sheri, and then there's Derek, Sheri, and the children.
So there's a lot of understanding about, you know, Derek is saying, okay, in my body, in my mind, here's what's really important to me, and I'm saying in my body, in my experience, you know, in my mind, here's what's important to me. And then it's really communicating that and saying, well, how do we move forward where we both feel completely seen, completely heard, completely respected, and where it makes us so happy that we want to get up and do it every day, over and over again.
And like I was saying, the biggest question is about how much do I bend? Well, when I talk to my clients, I always say you bend, but you don't break. And when we find out what that is for that person, because you got to really investigate that, you know, with your client or with each other. How much am I bending before I break and say I cannot go there? That's one of the things you have to really understand before you get deep into a relationship too. How much are you willing to sacrifice? Because when you're in a relationship, you're sacrificing some of yourself. How much are you willing to do that? That's bending, but not breaking.
I love that.
Another thing that was important to me when we got together was, you know, I'm a very easygoing guy. Sheri will tell you in a minute. Sheri will tell you, I'm very Gemini. She said it before, I'm really easygoing, but when I do flip the switch, I really flip. I flip out because I don't really go there that often. But one of the things, being a really easygoing guy in relationships, I would kind of let my friends and significant other speak to me in any sort of way and sort of just kind of brush it off. Oh, they were in a mood, or
So what did he do? He got resentful.
I would get resentful.
I would
get resentful inside because they would speak to me a certain way, and I was just like, you know, but I wouldn't voice that I don't like what you're saying to me, because, you know, it wasn't that I want to stay in a relationship. I'm just an easygoing guy, and like, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't matter.
It matters.
Yes, it does. So one of the things when Sheri and I got together, getting to a longevity with our relationship, I had to make standards of how I wanted to be spoken to. I don't use sharp tones with people most of the time, you know, unless I'm really mad. I didn't want sharp tones in my relationship where you bite at me, or everything is an argument, or everything is
I'm still working on that, actually. Because I'm kind of like more
feisty.
I'm kind of feisty and more aggressive.
Yeah, and you know, and like with cursing. I mean, if we talk about it, like Sheri in the relationship in the past,
F-bomb is my favorite word.
She was in relationships where her and the other person maybe would curse at each other. That didn't work for me. You know, so the first time she kind of did something like that, I was like, yeah, that's not gonna be, and in the past I wouldn't have said anything, but I knew I was going forward with this person. I'm like, there's certain ways when you love someone, I don't care what's going on, that you speak to that person in that tone, you know? So that was important for me. What about you, honey? What was some of the,
you're just coming out with it. I'm like,
well, I was thinking about what did it mean to me? What did it mean to you?
Yeah.
About you?
For me, it was really back to understanding that I don't have to do it all and I don't have to be perfect in everything, you know? Because I'm definitely, when someone says, oh, I'm not as fast, I'm like, I can do it fast, I'll do it. Or, you know.
Take over.
Yeah.
Take it all on you.
And you still, Derek still, you know, with the cooking, sometimes I call going on strike because I don't want to do it. And Derek's like, well, you're so much better and you're so much faster and it's so much more delicious. And you know, at the end of the day, I don't want to cook sometimes. I want someone to cook for me.
As we start a cooking channel.
No, that is my love language, but I don't want to feel like Derek always expects me to do all the cooking, you know? And I kind of step into that position and I own that, you know? We have to own our stuff too. We have to own that we are contributing to our own lower standards.
It's true.
You know?
True.
And so, yeah. So it's I am that person that if someone says, "Oh, I'm not as good," I'm like, "I'll do it, no worries." "Oh, I don't have time." "Oh, I can squeeze it in, no worries." "Oh, I'm sad." "Oh, I'm always happy, no worries. I'll build you up. I'll build you up." It's very energy depleting. I have to be cognizant of how much I spread my energy out. And so one of the standards that I raise for myself is before I say yes, and I'm doing all these different things and I've overextended myself and my energy is like, I need to sleep for 5 years, you know, is to really think, before I say yes, do I have the energy? Do I have the time? Do I really want to do this? Or am I just deciding to make someone else's job easier because you know, it's out of a good, it's out of a good heart because I want to do, but it's really not serving me. Yeah. So it's raising my standards about saying no.
All right, guys. So that's where we're going to leave you because we kept you for a while this one. We're just going on and on. But look, subscribe.
Say that
Come
5
join
times
us.
fast.
Come join us over there on YouTube. Come follow us over there. But look, we love you guys. Raise those standards. You are worth it. Don't just go on autopilot. Raise those standards.
Get really clear about what you want because what you get clear about and what you put energy towards is what you're going to get.
All right, guys. We love you. Remember, be kind to yourself and don't hide from yourself.
Have a great week.
We'll see you tomorrow for Sheri and Derek's favorite things. Bye.